The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the noblest men of past centuries. It's time for our educational program on reading culture, Readers for Growth. I am Busola Faiga Okpeolu. And with me today I have Sonia. How are you, Sonia?
Thank you.
Inyolua, hello.
Thank you.
Emma.
Thank you.
It's nice having you on the program. And with us on the program today, we have a marriage counselor as a special guest. And I tell you, she is really a special guest in the person of Mrs. Grace Chamah. We welcome her to the program.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back. Mrs. Chamah, how did you get into counseling?
Well, how I got into counseling, I will not say I stumbled into it.
Okay.
I think I just have a passion of mentoring and talking to people. Whenever I come across anyone, I see anyone in any situation, naturally advices and counsels just flew from me. So from there I just knew that, yeah, it's as if I have something in me to give to people.
And you said you've been counseling for the past 19 years. How has it been?
It's been wonderful, it's been awesome. You know, when it comes to counseling, you have to put yourself in the person's situation. When people come to you, you have to be a very, very good listener. You hear them out, and then of course, based on most of the kind of counseling I do is a Christian type of counseling, whereby I use the Word of God to encourage, to guide, to guard, to educate. Because when you talk about marriage, a lot of people prepare for so many things in life, but that is one area that people don't really prepare or plan for. They just find themselves in this institution and with no prior knowledge of what to do or what to expect. And when people talk about a lot of divorce, high rate of divorce and all that, it's all due to lack of preparedness. When you don't know what to do, of course you cannot, once there's a situation or problem in the home, you just find yourself, reacting in a way that ordinarily, if you were well informed, you wouldn't act. So it's just a way of preparing people to know what they are going into and how to conduct themselves within a marriage setup.
Do we children have a right in the home?
Of course, every member of the family has a right in the home. You have a right to be protected. You have a right to be fed. You have a right to be cared for, to be nurtured, to be trained. That question is a very important question because, when you look at our society today, you discover that there are a lot of untrained people. When I say, they were not well brought up. Nobody was there to guide them. Nobody was there in the home to teach them. Maybe they just grew without any guidance. So as a child, you have a right to be trained, to be educated, to be taught what to do. That is why in the first place, children come through parents. If not, God is God. He can throw children from the skies. But he decided to bring children through parents, so that the parents will be there as their guidance, as their teachers, as their counselors, even in the home. So you have a lot of rights in the home as children.
Do you go to school to learn how to counsel husband and wife?
Yes, I trained for it. In fact, I attended several series of trainings. I attended series of trainings in order to, when I started, actually, I was just giving some manuals and I just started.
Okay.
But after that, I went for trainings, to become a better counselor, so to speak, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. How do you counsel them? Is it when they fight?
No. You have what we call premarital counseling, And then, of course, the post-marital counseling. That is when the problems begin to arise. Initially, you prepare them for marriage before they ever go into that is before the wedding. So they go through some months, like 3 months of counseling sessions. You teach them, you let them know that this marriage that they are going into, marriage is an interesting institution because it is one institution that was established by God. Because whether you read from the Bible or from the Quran, you will see that Adam was in the garden, and he didn't ask for a wife. It was God who said, "Oh, it's not good for Adam to be alone. So let me get him a mate that is suitable for him, meet for him." So he got Eve and brought Eve. So he instituted marriage, so to speak. So. Because he instituted it, of course, he should know how marriage should be lived. So if we want to know how to live, get the best out of marriage, we go to God's manual.
Have you been married for long?
Yeah, for a reasonable period of time, for over 30 years.
Wow, that is a long time. Let's look at something else. Domestic violence is actually on the increase. What can a marriage counselor do in this area?
Well, when it comes to marriage, it's a peculiar kind of relationship. And I used to say to people that communication is very vital to marriage. I used to say that communication is to marriage what blood is to the human body. You drain the whole of the blood from the body, and that body is as good as dead. There's a level you get to that the body will die once the blood becomes very low in the body. It's the same with marriage when it comes to communication. Communication keeps the marriage alive. It does not matter what the situation is in the house, what problem there are. You can always talk things out. So long as you are talking, there is a tendency for the husband and wife to keep malice.
That's true.
Once you begin to keep malice, you begin to create distance from each other. This person is going this way, this person is going the other way. You see your husband, you throw your face the other way. You see the wife, you are not talking good morning, you are not answering, or you answer inside, and that is it. So long as you give the devil the opportunity, he will continually speak to you and throw things that you have never even imagined to mind. You may think you are the one thinking. You may not be the one thinking. He's just throwing suggestions to you. You begin to see pictures that are not there, and before you know it, violence erupts. But once there is communication, there will be understanding. And where there is understanding, there cannot be violence. Instead, love will reign in that home.
Okay.
So you must know when to speak. The wife must know when to speak, and the husband must know when to speak.
Very important.
Yeah.
Can it be eradicated completely?
That's domestic violence, you say.
Domestic violence to be eradicated, that will be like saying that wow, the whole of humanity now will have a sound mind. Because once your mind is sound, then there will be no room for violence. We can get to a reasonable level of eradication. We cannot say eradicate completely, but with education, it can be very much reduced. You can reduce the level of violence, because once a man gets to understand that this is my wife, okay, once he knows who a wife is, who is a wife to you? She's not an object.
That's true.
She is part of you as a man. She's part of you. And because she's part of you, there's only a madman will go about beating himself or hitting himself. This is your family. You are the head of this home. So as a man, it is your responsibility to protect, to provide, and care for your family. And domestic violence is not part of caring. Well, some men may be watching this program and may say, well, there are women that beat the men too. Whatever way it is violence, wherever it comes from. And it should not be obtainable in the home, because once there is violence in the home, children learn by observation. As they see their parents fighting, they will grow up to believe that this is the best way to behave. And it is not.
You're also into vocational training for skill acquisition. Can you tell us a little about skill acquisition? I find out that these days, some of us don't even want to go to school again. You find a child who finishes O levels, instead of furthering, she's thinking about going into having a trade. Is it actually important to us?
Well, skill acquisition is very important.
Okay.
Education is important because education opens up your mind to endless possibilities. It's just like, light shining in darkness. Awareness comes to you about the potentials even that you have inside of you. So education is very, very important, and it's very vital. It's key. Now, vocational training cannot take the place of education. It is just to acquire skills so that you're able to fend or provide for yourself, do something. You have a trade that you can do, something that you can just do. Now, an example is, I have, my third daughter. She has finished her master's, but I made her learn how to do some makeup.
Okay.
I made her go to train how to tie gele. These are skills that will be useful to her anywhere she finds herself in life. So when children are on holidays, what I encourage is that they should learn a trade, learn something. You don't know when that will become useful to the child. He may find himself in an environment where that skill is needed. And you will see the child just, before you know it, he has just become something else in the home.
Because we find so many of them around now. You find a child in school uniform, after school hours, doing training as a vulcanizer. It's all around. Thank you very much. It's still Readers for Growth. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back.
The title of our story today is Happiness, the Three Wishes. Once upon a time, there lived a very poor man in a deserted village with his wife. They were so poor that they hardly ever had a meal to eat in a day. The man was a hunter, but he never caught any game to take home for food. Day after day, he went hunting, but returned home empty-handed with the same old story. One fateful day, the hunter caught sight of a giant bird resting on a tree behind his hut. He smiled as he brought out his bow and arrow and aimed it at the bird. But before the hunter could shoot his arrow, the bird looked up and saw the arrow aimed at it. Immediately, it began to sing. Poor hunter, don't kill me, because I will be more useful alive than dead. Ask for 3 wishes of your choice, and you shall receive them instantly. The hunter decided to put the bird to the test without much thought, and he said, well, I am very hungry now. I wish I could get a bunch of bananas to eat. Immediately, a bunch of bananas dropped at his feet. He hungrily picked it up and ate. He then ran inside the hut to share his experience with his wife. Woman, we have cause to celebrate now, he said. His wife asked for her own share of the fortune, but the hunter had nothing to give her. she began to nag. She cursed and rebuked the hunter very sharply. Alas, the hunter lost his temper and shouted, "I wish my wife were dumb, so this nagging would stop." Immediately, the wife stopped talking. She became dumb. That was the second wish. The bird screamed. The hunter was very unhappy. His life would be very miserable, living with a dumb woman in such a deserted and lonely village. He said, "I wish my wife could speak again." Alas, the third wish was gone. His wife began to speak, and the bird flew away. The poor hunter and his wife were back to square one. Poor, but happy to be together. Happiness is an essential ingredient in life. Money does not necessarily bring happiness. Everybody values happiness. That is the end of our story.
Thank you.
Well, I have some questions to ask you, children. Did you understand the story?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, what did you learn from the story?
Well, I learned that love is really necessary in this life, and money doesn't really provide happiness. If you have something, you should be happy with it. And even though it's as much as a seed, that you should be happy at least you got it. Yes, that's what I learned.
That's good. That's very good. Money doesn't necessarily cause happiness or bring happiness. What makes you happy?
My parents.
Your parents. They make you happy. That is good. It's good to have parents because parents care for us, they provide for us, isn't it?
Yes.
That is good. And how can you make another person happy?
By helping and donating to people.
By helping and donating to people. By being nice to people. That is good. When you are nice to people, you know, when you do what you expect done to you, you do unto others. Okay? Whatever you know makes you happy, do the same to others. Whenever you're about to do anything and you know that it will not make another person happy, you desist from it. Is that okay?
Yes.
Can anybody tell me the hunter's second wish? What was the second wish? Wow. We are all in tune. Yes.
He said, "I wish my wife was dumb so that this nagging would stop."
Wow. Did the wish come to pass?
Yeah.
It came to pass. But I believe he immediately regretted it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Because the third wish was that?
The third wish was that his wife wouldn't be dumb again.
Okay.
That she could speak.
That she could speak, and she began to speak. And that brought back happiness into the home. That is good. Very, very good. You've all done very well. It shows that you really understand the story.
Well, clap for yourselves, children. That was very good. Very good.
On behalf of the children of Readers for Growth, we present you this.
Oh, thank you.
Give me a hug. Shake our hands.
Thank you.
Hug. That's it. A very big thank you to you, Mrs. Grace Chamah, for coming on to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for opening your home to us. A big thank you to you, Iniolua,
Thank you.
Sonia,
Thank you.
Emma. Thanks for being part of the program. Readers for Growth. I am Busola Faiga Okpelu. Next week is another day. Stay with us.
People say thinkers rule the world, but I beg to differ a bit because I believe what you think on matters, because you might just be thinking on nothing. I'd rather see readers who read to improve themselves, who read to educate themselves and who read for success rule the world.